So, good evening. It is Friday. It is over and over again. My name is Richard, and this is the official start of your weekend. We are back in our usual Friday evening slot, maybe for 1 week only for the time being, but we're gonna be a bit more sporadic this season with the nights that we do. We will be doing a show every week. It just might not always be on a Friday, but this is going to be a big one. We have got a lot to look back on, a lot to look forward to. Of course, there's a start of the WSL season last weekend. That brilliant game against Manchester City. We'll look back on that. Of course, last night's game as well against Hacken in the Champions League. Wow, what a great victory that was. We're going to look back on that game as well. Today, of course, it was the Champions League group stage draw. So we're going to have a look ahead at that as well. And of course, this weekend on Sunday, the team are away at Leicester. So we're going to preview that game as well. Loads and loads of stuff to come. And of course, your comments and questions as well, all coming up the other side of this. So, good evening. Welcome to the Arsenal Women's Show. Of course, we have got royalty in the house. As always, it is Lord Andreas is back with us. How are you this week?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm not bad at all. And I'm really looking forward to the show. Season just started, but already so important matches, so interesting subjects to discuss. Yeah, it will be a great show, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been a busy sort of week and a half since our last show, hasn't it? Lots has happened, lots has gone on, lots of matches have been played, lots of things have been decided, and yeah, loads of great stuff that we will need to look ahead of and look back on. So I suppose we want to like to do things in chronological order. So the only place we can really start will be last weekend, the big kickoff to the WSL, and what a game we had enjoyed at the Emirates. Wow. So Manchester City, of course, what a way to start the season at the Emirates. Manchester City, last season's runners-up, a certain ex-Arsenal player returning straight away. And in the end, it was an incredible game, let's be honest. I mean, from the perspective of promoting women's football, promoting the WSL, you couldn't really have had a better advertisement for it. That game just had everything, really, didn't it? Some great football, two great teams, trying to win the game, no time wasting, no rolling around pretending to be injured, no 12 players behind the ball looking for a draw. No, it was two teams looking to try and win the first game of the season to make a big statement. And in the end, neither team won, but that maybe didn't matter too much. I think both teams will be reasonably happy with the outcome with a point each, and obviously taking that forward into the rest of the season. And I think that from an Arsenal perspective, I thought we played well in that game. We could have won. We had chances. We know we had chances. It's the same old problem, isn't it? Not putting the ball in the back of the net as often as we should do or could do. But I thought it was a good Arsenal performance against a decent Man City team. You know, we went in front. We had to then show real character when we went behind. Would have been easy for that game to slip away from us against a team like Man City. That they're a difficult team when they get themselves in front. But again, we showed character, got the equaliser, and you know, okay, we didn't look like winning it after that. To be honest, we were maybe hanging on slightly, but I thought a draw was a decent result. And the most pleasing thing for me was how well we played. I thought that was a really strong Arsenal performance. Oh, yes, there was Man City had spells in the game. Of course, they've got great players. But I thought the way we managed that game was really good. I mean, what did you make of it? You was in the stadium. We got your vlog. It was fantastic again. But what did you make of the performance? Did you think that we played really well against a good side? Or did you feel maybe we need to improve?
No, exactly. It was a fantastic match of two top teams. And yeah, from the normal football supporter, this was the perfect start to the season. You could see these are two teams, both will compete for the title and both giving their everything to win the match. It was not such a boring 0-0 or both too careful, not wanting to risk something. No, it was from the start. Both were were trying everything. And if you think about the 4th or 5th minute when Viv stole the ball back, and she nearly scored when Manu was too wide outside of her goal. When I saw this scenery, I thought, oh, it's in. And yeah, she missed the post by I don't know, 5 centimeters or so. A typical Viv scene. But then we reacted, we answered, and we scored the first one. Yeah, fantastic. It was a very good combination, and I think, yeah, a great goal. And in following this 1-0 lead for us, we were controlling the match. We had the better chances, we had the control in first half, and we had these 2 1 versus 1 situations with Stina, where she at least must score 1 goal out of these chances. Yeah, but you can never lay back. City is so good, so good players in their team. They are always capable of coming back or scoring. And out of 10 players they have on the pitch, no, it must have been the one we know best who scored. But yeah, it was deflection, and Laia Codina couldn't do anything against it. And I think Manu couldn't save this ball. She was caught on the wrong feet. Yeah, it was a lucky goal for City, but yeah, normally we should have been 2-0 up at halftime, 2-0, 3-1 or something like that with our chances. Yeah, but yeah, that's always the case when 2 top teams meet. It's small margins that decide such a match. And yeah, what happened in the second half, I don't think that Jess Park will score such a goal in the next few months. It was one of those goals you say it's yeah, it's goal of the month, or maybe it's among the goals of the season. It was fantastic strike from Jess Park. Nobody could do anything against this, and then coming back and yeah, show the resilience, and yeah, fight back. If you're 2-1 down against City, that's a very, very difficult situation. And there were chances for City to score the third, to be honest. But we always kept our plan, our tactics, and we always tried to come back. And I think we deserve this equalizer, this late equalizer. Before, there were situations when I think Katie made this late block, or Cody was trying to prevent Banichon from scoring, or Manu had 2 good saves. Yeah, but then we deserve the equalizer. The last 5 minutes plus the stoppage time, I think it was City who was the better team, or yeah. My impression was, if one team is scoring a third goal now in the last minutes, then it will be City. So in the end, I would say, let's take the draw. It's okay. I mean, we played one of the best teams of the league and we got a draw. It's okay. Both teams will say this. And before the match, both would have taken the draw with all the circumstances before we coming on a low. As I said before, I would take a draw, and of course we want to win. And after the match, I think both will say, okay, let's take the 1 point. We didn't lose to the start of the season. And yeah, it was a fantastic match for the supporters of both teams, and for the neutral football supporters. A great start of the season. So I've talked a lot now.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was a great start to the season. It was a great way to start the season, a game like that as well, wasn't it? LG's in the chat says, I think we are cursed as a club. Why do ex-players always score against us? Well, I mean, I've looked at the replay of that goal from behind the goal, and it looked like Viv's shot was actually going wide and it was deflected in. So I think that's an own goal. So I don't think Viv can claim that goal. So it's not an ex-player who scored against us on this particular occasion. They do tend to. And I don't think that's just an Arsenal thing. I think ex-players, when they go back to their former club, have got something to prove sometimes. They may be trying a little bit harder. You see it a lot. It's not just us. We notice it more when it's against our team. Of course we do, because we're invested in it. But I think it happens all the time. Players always tend to score against their former clubs quite a lot, don't they? So yeah, and it's happened to us. Of course it has. And you know what can you say? I mean, it is what it is. The lucky thing was it wasn't a winning goal. It wasn't the goal that won the game. And I think we mentioned that last time, didn't we, Andreas? About we didn't want Viv to score a winning goal, and in the end, you know, it was an important goal, but it didn't win the game, and we managed to get a point out of it. And I think we'll all be reasonably happy with that. Greg's with us. He says, "Evening, Rich and your lordship, indeed. Good to see you, my friend." Roy says, "Sorry, I missed the game last night. I crashed out after work. The first thing I checked this morning was the result last night. So happy the team's club's hard work has been rewarded." Yeah, we'll talk about obviously last night's game was a little bit later, but yeah, you missed a good one actually, Roy. You did. Shame you fell asleep after work. But yeah, good that you obviously happy with the result. Greg says, "I think we should have won an own goal and a goal where our keeper just stood there and watched it go over her head. Didn't even try backpedaling." I mean, I think to be fair to Manu, what happened was Lotte Ruben-Moy got a little injury in the build-up. The cross came in, and she went down with an injury. And I think Manu was distracted. I think the rest of the Arsenal defence was distracted, and everybody seemed to stop for 2 seconds, except for Jess Park. The ball fell to her, and it was a great finish. But everybody stopped because Lotte had gone down with an injury. It wasn't a foul. It shouldn't have been a free kick or anything like that. But I think that had Manu been ready, I mean, would she have saved it? It was right in the top corner under the crossbar, hit the underside of the bar. I mean, come on. Yes, she could have made a dive. I don't think she would have got there anyway. So let's not criticise Manu for that. We've criticised her when she's deserved criticism, which has been quite a lot in the last couple of seasons. But I don't think you can blame her for that goal. It was right in that top corner, you know. Unless you're about 6'5" as a goalkeeper, you've got massively long arms and you start diving very, very early, you're probably never going to know goal. Like a male goalkeeper wouldn't get there. You know, David Raya probably wouldn't have saved that. You know, so let's not criticise her for that. We'll criticise her when we have to, and I'm sure we will throughout the season, but not for that. Come on, give her the benefit of the doubt there. I don't think that you can really blame her for that one personally. But anyway, we've got Gary in the chat here, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Old friend of mine from school days, actually. Good to see you. LG says, "I still honestly feel our equalising goal was a foul on Kelly." Yeah, of course it was. It was definitely a foul on Chloe Kelly. Of course it was. It was 2 fouls on her, actually. There was one in the first place from Katie McCabe, and then Kim Little basically sat on her to stop her getting up. So, but we don't care. Often we don't get those decisions going our way, do we? So we'll take it. And it was a foul. And I was amazed the goal was given, actually. Delighted, but shocked. But we'll take it, won't we? Of course we will. Terry says, "Good evening, Richard. Lordy, Andreas. Come on, you Gooner Girls, indeed. Good to see you, Terry, as well. Good to see everybody actually in the chat, which is good this evening. And we've got someone else joining us, actually, who I don't know if anyone will remember this guy. He's not been with us for a while. It is, of course, the return of Ammar in the dark, and we can't see him.
No, it's not. It's a light. That's actually light. No, it's fine. It's fine. Trust me.
No, it's behind you. It's behind you, so we can't see you. That's the whole point. We've said this before.
Yeah, no, we'll brighten up. Let's brighten up. How are we, fellas? You all right?
We're very good, my friend.
Yeah, good evening to your Lord Majesty and his Lordship as well.
Exactly. We've now got royalty on the show. It's fantastic.
Oh, no, you're too kind. I'm not royalty. Trust me. I'm not. Who's the people who be royalty? I'm not royalty. So,
Prince Hammer. There we go.
I'll just take whatever you call it. Yeah.
That's what
I was interested listening to your points on that. Yeah, there's not much I can say other than what a fantastic advert and for women's football. And anyone who doesn't watch women's football, well, I mean, okay, fine. What can you say? I just I feel a bit sorry for you if you don't like the women's game after that. That was just from start to finish. It was just like it took a breath away. It was that good. It wasn't personally a good times for the nerves, but it was good. It was good to watch as a fan because I know I wrongly criticised the manager in the past, but I thought he got the tactics spot on. One thing that probably isn't mentioned that was picked up on the women's football show on the BBC the other day was the fact that when we pressed them, they didn't really have an answer to our press when we pressed them high up the pitch, and it enabled us to win a lot of high balls or whatever they call it further forward, and then able to put their defence under constant pressure, which was a good thing to see as well. And I mean, they could have given anyone man of the match, but I know they gave it to Katie on the Twitter. I think I would have given it to either Frida or Coddy because they were both fantastic as well. So, I mean, yeah, what great advert. And yeah, it's certainly give us something to shout about for the rest of the season, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I'd say it's a good way to start the season with a game like that. You know, we did it a couple of years ago when we played Chelsea at the Emirates and we beat them 3-2. That was a great game, great advert for women's football. And I think when you've got the games that are on the telly as well, in particular, where there's a big audience watching the games, I think it's important that you see games of that quality, because that's how women's football grows. You know, it grew on the back of the Euros because of how great that tournament was and what great football there was. And that's the way it's going to grow, and it's going to continue to grow, is when you see games like that. You know, what we don't want to see is the negativity that has crept into the Premier League over the last probably 10 years or so. And it's going to happen in women's football eventually. It's bound to. The money will come in and that's what happens. But let's enjoy it while we can. Let's enjoy the fantastic football. Not just the Arsenal game. Let's look at the WSL as a whole. The games themselves are exciting, aren't they? You know, you can watch any WSL game and you're going to get excitement. You're generally going to get goals. You're going to get drama. You're going to get all the best things that there is about football. And you're absolutely right, Emma. You know, a lot of people maybe don't give women's football enough time. They think, oh, it's women's football, I don't want to watch that. But actually, if you sit down and just give yourself a couple of games and sit and actually watch it, and just watch it for football. Don't think, oh, well, it's not as fast as the Premier League. It's not as physical as the Premier League. Right? No, it's not. But it's not meant to be. Just sit and watch it as watching football, as it's a game of football, and you will enjoy it. There's no question about it. You will definitely enjoy it. And you know, just don't compare it to anything else, because it isn't. You know, you wouldn't watch men's football and compare it to, I don't know, swimming or boxing. It's a totally different thing. You can't compare it. Just enjoy it for what it is, and it's brilliant. And that's what you need to do. LG says, my player of the match was Cody. She pocketed Bunny Shaw because of popularity. I mean, Cody's been brilliant, actually, not just in that game this season. And I think that also as well, Frida Marnham had a great game, I thought.
She's been superb. She looks up for it this season. Look at the goal she scored yesterday as well. It was fantastic.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's in brilliant form. And I thought that the Man City game was a best game for a couple of years. Jonas mentioned it in his press conference, didn't he, that last season she didn't quite reach the levels that she had the previous season. We all know that. And she looks like she's back to her best. And I thought she was brilliant against Man City. Took her goal well, played brilliantly. She was everywhere in that midfield. And that's the Frida that we need. And that's the Frida we want to see. So, I want to give her credit, because we've criticised her, you know, over the last year or so. Probably rightly so, because she's not been at her best. But it's all about responding to criticism and responding when you're not playing well. She's worked hard and she's back to her best. So that's brilliant. Well done, Frida. You know, you was brilliant in that game. But I kind of agree with LG. I think Katie McCabe is a popular player, and she doesn't have to do much to get player of the match, does she? You know, her role in that goal, which was literally the best thing she did in the game, obviously. But she's got player of the match for that one involvement, not what she did over the whole game. And it is because of who she is. And yes, maybe sometimes it's not fair that a player like that. Although I do think on the TV, I think Frida got player of the match, didn't she, on the TV? So I think Sky gave it to Frida. Yeah.
Cody was really, really strong. And
Cody was great as well. Yeah, she was.
She's so far in all these matches, pre-season and Champions League, she's our best defender.
Yeah.
She played with Leah. She played with Lotta, and always Cody is our best defender. There were situations. I think one or two situations when Lotta was claiming offside. She raised her hand and claimed offside, but it was not offside. The game continued, and Cody continued and made a block and saved the ball. So she's just in fantastic form at the moment, and I agree, she's our best defender. For me, she was player of the match too. And don't forget, we scored a third goal, and I don't think it was offside. Place in the stadium, I couldn't decide, but I saw the referee or the Lions woman. She rose her flag, so I knew it will not count. But I saw it on TV afterwards, and I looked. It was, I think, a very small margin, but let's be 2 or 5 centimeters. But she was onside, so this should have counted this goal. So this was a goal, but not offside. And of course, Katie's action maybe was a foul. If you take both situations then it's justice that we got one goal out of these two situations.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I certainly don't want VAR in the WSL because I think it's ruined the Premier League and I don't want to see it. But then you get goals like that, and quite clearly VAR would have given that goal that Caitlin Ford scored because the defender's leg was behind Caitlin, if you like. So it's strange in a way because I don't want VAR. It would have helped us out in that particular incident. That doesn't mean we should want it because it's given us one goal that was wrongly disallowed. But yeah, I mean, I suppose when you look at it, that goal was wrongly disallowed, and maybe the other goal was wrongly given because it probably was a foul, and I don't think there's much doubt about that. But you've got to think of it as well, though, in the context of the game. The Caitlin Ford goal would have put us 2-1 up early in the second half when we were on top, and that would have changed the outcome of the game. Yes, in the end, the Beth Mead goal made it 2-2 and got us a point. But had we gone 2-1 up, we may well have gone on to win that game. So maybe the Caitlin Ford goal being disallowed wasn't quite replaced by Beth's goal in that sense because of the circumstances of it, but obviously we'll take it. We got one goal from the two efforts that went in, I suppose, and one of them should have been disallowed and one of them should have stood the other way around. But yeah, I mean, it is the way it is. But I don't want to see VAR brought in just because they got one decision wrong. No, I don't. Even though it would have gone in our favour, I still don't want to see VAR because the Katie McCabe one would have been disallowed. That would have been giving us a foul on VAR 100%. There's no doubt. So we wouldn't have got both goals if VAR was there, would we? We'd still only got one goal, but it may well have changed the outcome of the game because of when that goal was scored. But anyway, you know, we can't worry about it. We haven't got it, and I don't want it, so I'm not gonna complain that we haven't got it. LG says, what's the difference between an elite male footballer and an elite female footballer? Not much difference, really. Atana is a pound for pound better player than Bellingham. Well, I think you can't compare it. The reason why you can't compare it, you say what the differences are. The differences are biological, right? And that's the only difference is you've got males and females are built slightly differently when it comes to power and speed and strength and all this kind of stuff. Generally, men are stronger, more powerful and stuff like that than women are. That's not against women at all. It's just that's the way it is. So an elite men's footballer looks to be a lot more athletic because of the biological makeup of men as opposed to women. That's the only difference. In terms of skill, there's never been any real difference in skill. You look at the women's first touch on the ball is just as good as the men. Their passing ability is just as good and all this kind of stuff. There's no difference technically. It's just the physical side. And that is, we can't do anything about that because that's biology, isn't it? We don't want to do anything about it. Men and women are different and we should celebrate the fact that they're different, and that's fine. And it makes the women's game actually in a way more enjoyable to watch sometimes because it isn't all about power and pace as men's elite game is. That's what it's about. If you're fast and you're strong, you're gonna look good in the men's game. Whereas in women's game, it's more of a technical game. You've got to be more skillful to compensate for the fact that you're not running at 100 miles an hour. You're not going to be barging people out of the way unless you're Katie McCabe and stuff like that. So I think we have to look at it and say there is a difference. But the difference is a biological difference, a physical difference, not a technical difference. And there's no technical difference. Not really. I don't think there is. Or if there is, it's so small that you wouldn't even notice it. You can't notice a difference. I mean, Jude Bellingham is a fantastic player. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, that it's great. And the top women's players are technically as good. They're just not as physically strong and fast and whatever it is. But that's fine. So, that's the only difference for me. I mean, do you think, I mean, obviously, you know, you watch a lot of men's football as well, as we all do, and a lot of women's football. Do you think it is just the physical kind of makeup of men and women that's the only difference? I don't think there is much technical difference, is there, really?
No, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there would have been more technical difference. But now the players right now, they are technically perfectly educated and skilled, and it's the pace and it's the physicality. Yeah, of course, but it's for me to watch. It's more interesting, and I can follow the women's game better than the men's game because of the pace, because of all the physicals and the fouls, and then they're laying around and rolling around. Then there is another break, and they're all coming to the referee, and then it's VAR. It's taking another 5 minutes, taking out all emotion. There's a goal scored, and then VAR check, and you wait 3-4 minutes, and then it said, goal. Okay, goal. So the emotions are totally different, and in women's football, it's better to watch, better to follow. If you sit on the stands in the stadium, you can see all the aspects of the game, and I can see spaces that open that the players also see. In men's football, it's impossible to follow. Of course, it's different, but why always comparing men's and women's football? You don't compare athletics, 100 meters, or marathon, or in swimming, or in every
you're right.
Sports. You don't compare. You don't say, look how slow they are swimming. And the 100 meters, they need 12 seconds, 11 seconds. They are so slow. They are not running against each other. Men and women don't run against each other, don't swim against each other. They don't play football against each other. It's men's football and women's football. And let's enjoy the women's football, because it's the pure football like we knew 20 years ago. And women's football has developed and still develops. There's more technical skills, more pace coming in women's football. But let's hope that they keep the positive aspects. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it more than watching the Premier League or the Bundesliga.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I do as well. It's a better spectacle. And I suppose that depends on what you want from football, I suppose. I think a lot of people that watch the Premier League maybe enjoy that extra pace and speed and strength and enjoy that part of the game more. And that's fine. If that's what you enjoy, brilliant. But for me, I agree with Andreas 100%. I prefer the kind of technical, slightly slower pace of the women's game. And that's not a bad thing, because it's still fast. It's just not as fast as the Premier League. If you watch the Premier League and then you watch a women's game straight after, you're going to think, Christ, that's slow. But only having seen the men's game first, that is faster. But it is what it is. And I agree, we shouldn't be comparing it. It's not sensible to compare it anyway, and it's pointless, because, like you said, you don't look at other women's sports and say, well, it's not as good as men's. It's not the same, so you can't say it's not as good or not better. Some people prefer it and some people don't. It doesn't make it better or worse. It's just different, and it should be different, and we should stop trying to compare it. And I don't think sometimes the women players help when they're talking about, or ex-women's players saying, women's players should get paid the same as men. No, they shouldn't, because there's not as much money in the women's game yet. So it makes that's got to be, so I don't think things like that help, because then people do start comparing it, don't they? And say, well, they're getting this, they're getting that. And, I don't think that's helpful either. So I think that needs to stop. I think the media need to stop banging on about the money that the players get, because you've got to look at what the sport generates. Women's football at this moment in time is getting there. It's generating more money. But look at the transfer fees. Arsenal put in a record transfer fee for Kira Walsh of like £1 million. You know what I mean? And we bought Declan Rice for 100 million in the men's team. That's the difference. That's the levels. That's why the men's players get paid a lot more, because there's that more money in the game. So let's not even go down that route anymore ever. Let's not even mention how much money the women get to the men. What's happening is the women's game's growing. It's getting more money. It's getting more sponsorship, more exposure. It's improved technically, as we've said. It's got bigger audiences, and eventually, I don't forget the Premier League. Before it was a Premier League, when it was a first division, then players didn't get paid much money. Not really, not compared to what they get paid now. And the women are probably getting paid on a similar level to what the men were getting paid back in the 1980s and the 70s and stuff like that, in comparison. And it will grow, and it's going to grow quite quickly now, because Sky are involved already. So it'll get there, but let's not rush it and say, we need to, why aren't women getting paid this? Why aren't women getting paid that? And this, that, and the other. No, let's not go down that route, because I don't think that's actually a sensible way to do it. He says, I hate to say it, but I thought Katie was looking tired towards the end of last season and was on her way out. Not quite up to standards. Yeah, maybe she was at the end of last season. Yeah, but maybe she's had a break and she feels better about life. Terry says, what's your excuse for 29? No, leave 29 alone. Greg says he's an in-betweener. Well, I suppose he's in between. Yeah. So he says 29 wouldn't get in our girls' team. Well, of course he wouldn't, because he wouldn't be allowed, would he? Because the rules kind of say that men can't play in women's teams. So of course he wouldn't get in, would he? Because he wouldn't be allowed to. LG says rewatched Arsenal. He said rewatched the Arsenal versus Wolfsburg semi-final second leg. There were rough tackles and intense physical battle. Women can play it rough too. Yes, I'm not saying they can't, but when you compare it to how physical the men are and how strong the men are, that's the difference, isn't it? I'm not saying women aren't. It's not a physical game. Of course it is, but it's a physical game. It's like women's boxing, isn't it? You know, women punch each other, but they don't punch each other as hard as men punch each other in men's boxing, do they? And that's the way it is with women's football, isn't it? It's physical, but it's nowhere near as physical as men's football is, and it never will be because of the physical differences. And that's fine. We don't need to compare it, though, do we? It doesn't matter, does it? Women's game is what it is, and the men's game is what it is, and they'll always be different. And that's it. Let's not. Why do we need to compare it? Why do we even need to do that? The two things are different, and we need to enjoy them both for what they are, and that's it. But anyway, am I disappeared? But he's come back now.
Yeah, no, sorry, it was my screen froze. Sorry, what happened with my screen was froze? I couldn't hear anything you guys were saying, so I just restarted it. But no, it's interesting. Another point, if I may, I'd like to raise on that. People have to realise that women's bodies are also, they're engineered differently as well. No wonder you see, it's a comparison we make all the time. We think poor old Aurora Galli was the latest victim of an ACL injury the other day. We wish her a speedy recovery as well, if I may add. You don't see anywhere near those kind of injuries, that number of injuries as we see in the women's game and the men's. Okay, you see occasionally it happened to Rodri. I don't know if it's happened to Rodri, but they're few and far between. And their bodies are tailored differently to make sure they can cope with the physical demands of sport in general. So to do what they're doing, we should appreciate them for what they're doing. And the fact that they're even out there, risking their livelihoods and just putting all for a club or country, we should appreciate it. And comparing to the men's game is quite frankly, it's a non-comparison. As you say, you can't compare with women's boxing or swimming or tennis, whatever. They're just doing their best and giving it all, and they're wired. Their bodies are wired differently as well. And you don't see like what, for example, you saw at the end of the City Arsenal game. You don't see what the women's players do, like the likes of Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva and John Stones to a less extent. You don't see them all saying, "Oh, there was only one team trying to win the game." There's always good sportsmanship. They don't see them like pushing each other around or saying things about the manager and what you saw at the end of that game. So you have to appreciate them for it. We have to appreciate them for what they're doing, and just say it's completely, you can't compare. And it's good that they're out there doing it because it gives us something else to watch rather than the stupidity you sometimes see in the men's game. Doesn't it?
No, exactly. Yeah, and maybe the women's game will change as time moves on. Maybe women are getting stronger than they were 10 years ago, and maybe if that continues, then we may well see a similar type of game in the WSL in 10 years' time. We may do, but I don't think we need to worry too much about it. Let's enjoy it for what it is now and appreciate it for what it is, and understand that men and women are totally different. Cornish Gun is with us there. He says, "Hi, gents. I'd say tennis is a good example of how the women's game can be superior to men by being different. Men's tennis is often dominated by a certain."
Very good point.
The only thing I would say is, and I've said this for a long, long time, they've given equal prize money to women in the Grand Slam, which is fine, but they're only playing sometimes half as long because they only play the best of 3 sets, and sometimes them games are over in 45 minutes or less. And the men's game, even a straight sets men's game could last 2.5 hours. So I think that if I agree with you about that, the women's tennis is a more technical sport, isn't it? Because it isn't just about serve and volley; it's more about the actual technical shots a lot of the time. Although when Serena Williams was playing, it maybe wasn't so much. But I just think that if they make women the best of 5 sets, then I think that'll be better.
Yeah, they've talked about that. Another thing. Oops, sorry, my glasses went there for a second. Sorry, another thing I watch as well, because as you probably well know by now, is women's golf as well, and maybe to a lesser degree. Why do you think they make them play off the tees that are like? Because maybe the men can hit the ball far, that's why they tee off in front of the ladies' tees, and it still doesn't make it any less compelling to watch. Okay, they may not become. They may not hit the ball as far, but still, I think what they do for a living is still great. And we should, as I said, we just appreciate the fact that that's what they're there for. They need to be given that. They need to be given that extra time. Okay, I don't know whether rounds in general take longer, but it's still enjoyable to watch in that regard. Even though, of course, they're nowhere near as maybe as their specimens of men's are, they still hit the ball a good way, and then they're good to watch.
No, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, women are playing at the same amount of time in football as the men are. They're playing to the same rules, the same goals, the same size pitch, everything. So, you have to bear that in mind as well. Whereas in these other sports, we said in tennis, women play shorter games. In golf, they don't have to hit the ball as far and stuff like that. And there's adjustments made for the physical difference. In football, they've never done that. They've kept everything the same for men and women, and maybe that's something that they should have looked at initially and maybe made a couple of adjustments to women's football. But I'm glad they haven't, because I think it's maybe a better sport for the fact that they haven't done that. Greg says the women's game is how football should be played. Exactly, how it used to be played. Yeah, 100%. That's exactly right, and that's one of the reasons why I've become much more of a fan of women's football over recent years. Terry says you can't compare men's and women's games. They would, I agree, 100% agree with you. I think we all agree, really, which is what it is about. Terry says 15 going abroad, England games still can't afford a lot. I know, we've said it, haven't we? We've said it loads of times. About it. It's behind you. That's what it needs to be. You need a light in front of you.
I'm going to go to my room. I'm going to my bedroom. Honestly, I need to go to my bedroom.
You still need a light in front of you. It's no good having a light on top of your head, because it's not going to light your face, so people won't see you.
It's better.
We've said this plenty of times. The light needs to be in front.
That's better.
That's better there.
Yeah, that's better. I should go like that. That's better.
A little bit better there. It's still in the shadow, but it's a little bit better.
Let me try something. I need to move something. Yeah, let me try something.
You just need a little desk light that shines in your face.
I use a chair.
And it lights it up.
That's better. That's better.
It's not. It's not. The light's behind you.
I'm going to my room.
The light's above your head and behind you.
It's fine. I'm going to my room, honestly.
It's not going to make any difference. Unless you've got a little light on your desk shining in your face, it's not going to make any difference.
So I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going upstairs to my room in a bit.
It's not going to make any difference.
I know. It's magnified. It's actually a lot brighter here than you think. But anyway.
No, because the light's not in the right place. It's above your head. How's it going to light your face?
Let's move on from that fast. Just sorry, I don't want to turn your show into a debate about sorry. But yeah,
someone get him a candle. It's just a ring light. He just needs a ring light. That's it, not a candle, ring light.
One final point I'd like to raise on the Man City game. It's interesting. It's interesting at the end of the City game on the TV. It was funny how we were talking about how profligate we were as well. We scored 2 goals, but we could easily have scored 6 or 7. But I think if you look at the performance overall, it was definitely pleasing. The 2 goals weren't down to defensive errors. Yes, there were a couple of debatable VAR decisions. In a way, I'm glad that, as you say, we don't have that in the game, because it would add extra time onto the game. And of course, their second goal was a foul. But at the time, I can understand why the referee did give it offside, even though I think it was Leia Alexandri's foot that was playing Caitlin Ford onside.
Yeah.
So it's tough to tell, but I mean, I think we played well. The thing is now, when we go 1-0, I just think if we just be a bit more ruthless, we get that second goal, then we can really become a really good side. Stina, as you say, had that chance. I think we should maybe, if she can't dink it over the goal, she's just got to maybe just take it around and give her a chance to shoot the goal rather than have it first time. But our defense, as I said, was very solid, and there was a lot to be proud of. But there's one interesting thing, because we played Katie at left back, and we played Emily Fox, Claudina, and it was Ruben Moy. So it's interesting when Steph and Leah come back. Will he and Laura's fit again? It's hard to see how they get into the side. Even Amanda, for example, who's away on the maternity leave. How do you get those players back into the side? It's going to be interesting going forward.
Well, yeah, but that's what having a squad's about, isn't it? You need to have a big squad so you can rest and rotate, and that's what we've lacked maybe in certain positions over the last couple of seasons when we've had injuries. We haven't had cover this season. We've got lots of cover for lots of areas of the pitch, important areas of the pitch. So it's a decision that the manager's created by getting all these great players, and now he's got to deal with that. He's got to manage that squad when the time's there, when everybody's fit. He's got to pick what for each game the team he thinks is going to be the right team for that particular game, and that's what I'm sure he's going to have have to do, isn't he? Let's hope he does. Cornish Goodness says he was trying to hide those curtains. I can see why. That might be why. That might be a good point. Anyway, LG says that women's football also has more of a community feel than men's. Absolutely. Players interact and take pictures with fans, even in top leagues like WSL. Men's players only care about making money. Yeah, exactly. And the reason they only care about making money is because of how much money they're making. That's the reason why. And you're right, there is that, and I think that's another reason why women's football is more enjoyable, because of that more community aspect that it's got. It's almost like I grew up watching local football, grassroots football, stuff like that, and the women's game has still got that aspect to it where you can talk to the players and you feel like they're your friends even though they're not, but you get that kind of vibe from it. You feel like you're a part of it, as opposed to, you go to a men's game now in the Premier League, you're not part of anything. They don't care if you're there or not. Someone else will take your place. They're not bothered. Whereas in the women's game, you do feel that you're a part of it, aren't you? You're there and you mean something. You're important. And I think that's important as well. I think it's great. And yeah, I totally agree with you. That's exactly another reason. One of the big differences between the two is definitely that. And I hope that doesn't go. It obviously will. The more money that comes in, that will. It started to go already. Players now saying, "Oh, we're not going to have photos with Chelsea players." Said, "Oh, we're not going to have photos with the fans after the game and stuff like that." And at the Emirates, it doesn't happen like it used to at Meadow Park and stuff. And it's going to change. Unfortunately, we are going to lose a little bit of that. But hopefully, fundamentally, it will stay, because I think that's so important, really important. It's one of the most important things. Terry says, spot on LG. Now we only have to agree on getting Arteta out. Well, we don't need to agree on that, do we, Terry? We're all in agreement on that, I'm sure. So, of course, Man City came in between those two really, really big Champions League games, which produced two very different results. But ultimately, a two-leg tie is all about the aggregate score. It's not about one leg. It's about the aggregate score. And in the end, last night, we did the job, and we did it really, really impressively. And of course, Mariona got her first Arsenal goal as well. A little deflection on that one, but at least that was on target, not like Viv's one. So we'll give that to her, no problem at all. And I think we needed that second goal, because I thought we played well last night, actually. I wasn't concerned about the performance, but we looked a little bit nervy, didn't we? At 0-0, you could see we were nervy. And of course, Leah Volti then got that amazing goal, one of the goals of the season, fantastic. And you can see that settled us down a little bit. We still looked a little bit nervy, but then the second goal just before half time, I was confident then that we were going to go through. And I thought we played, okay, yeah, we had a couple of shaky moments. Of course we did, but I thought overall we played really, really well. What did you make of it last night, Andrew? Because obviously in the end it was a comfortable win and we had to work to be in that position. But I thought we played pretty well, didn't we, overall? Again, it was a good performance, wasn't it?
All in all, it was a good performance. And normally you start a match with 0-0. And yesterday we started with being 1-0 down. So it's totally different situation. And it's difficult. The Hacken manager said it before. The pressure is totally on Arsenal. We are 1-0 up. We can defend. They have to come. They have to score. We can make our match, and that's what it was. Of course, an early goal in the first 10 minutes would have helped, but it's difficult. And I think we played much better than away at Hacken. You could see how concentrated everybody was, the will every player showed, and everybody knew how important this match is, and everybody wanted to win. And even the supporters, the crowd, it was all just perfect for this match. And we were lucky with the first goal, because Wally doesn't score many goals. I think it was her third goal for us over the years. And she said after the match, I don't know what I did in this moment. She saw the ball coming, and that was just for a second there was the open space, and she did what we do, what we should do much more. Shoot if there is a chance. Shoot from 20 meters from outside the box. It's always it opens chances. Maybe the ball is deflected or something, and this was just a perfect shoot. And it gave more. It took the pressure away, and everybody felt now everything is possible. I wrote before, we have 90 minutes to score one goal, but time is running and running. If you don't score, the pressure will grow, and you make one mistake, and Hacken can find the counter attack. So with 1-0 up, all was level, and then you could see that we played with less pressure, and then of course we were lucky with the second goal with this deflection from Mariana's shot. But great for her that she opened her score sheet for us, because you could also see in all matches before yesterday what difference Mariana makes. She's a wonderful player, a skilled player, and she makes the difference on the wings, or her passes, her ideas, fantastic. And I think for her it was important to score, because she was she the best scorer at Barcelona last season in the Spanish league? I think yes. So for her self-confidence was good, and for us going with 2-0 in halftime, of course it was not brought to bed the whole match, but at halftime I thought, okay, even if they score, we are still 2-1 up, and it's still going to extra time. Nothing serious happens if they score. And with this feeling, we came out of halftime, and 2 or 3 minutes after the break, we made the third goal from was it Beth? Beth got this wonderful goal. Technically perfect what she did with the ball over, looping over the defender, and take it volley and scoring. You can't do it better. No man can do it better than Beth did in this moment. And with 3-0 up, I think I had no doubt that we will make it. Even a 3-1, we would be through. And you could see the confidence growing in the team. Jonas made the subs. He made good substitutions at the right time, as he did in the Man City game. So credit to Jonas. And all the subs he brought in, they created the fourth goal. So what a wonderful pass from Kyra. This opening pass, great. And and then Frida was there again. And as I said, credits to Jonas also for his lineup, bringing Wally in. We said it so often in our show. We are a different team with Leah Walty on the pitch. She was fantastic. Maybe she had a bit of a shaky start in the first 10 minutes or so, but then you could see how important she is. She is in organizing the defense, in winning the ball back, and giving the defense a better feeling. She's the better holding midfielder compared to Kyra, but Kyra is the better one in opening the game, in creating chances or her passes. She's very good, and I think so far she plays a really good season, pre-season and the first matches. But she has established herself in the team, Kyra, and it's great to have the opportunity to say, I bring Wally in this match to stabilize the defense, and then I sub Kyra in because we need more input for the offense. Fantastic. Both have played her part in this win, and for Wally, I think we are all happy that she was player of the match with this goal and performance, coming back from this long injury. Great.
Yeah, no, she deserved it last night. She was absolutely brilliant. There's no doubt. And like you said, you can see how much we miss her when she's not there, when she plays what she did last night. Sometimes it's a role in a team that isn't fancy. It doesn't get all the headlines because it isn't a flashy role. But when it's such an important role, and when she's not there and then she's back, you think, right, that's what she does. And sometimes you can almost forget it, can't you, when she's not playing. But yeah, she was brilliant last night. Really, really good. And what a goal. LG says both the men's and women's team do not tend to shoot from distance. Absolutely. So it's shocking that both the Calafiori and Walty goals came within days of each other. Well, no, I suppose it's unusual. I wouldn't say shocking. Maybe that's not necessarily the right word, but no, it was unusual. But what's going to happen is Calafiori won't be allowed to do that again. He'll be told, "Don't shoot again, mate, because you mustn't shoot." But yeah, it was strange that they both came one after the other in consecutive matches, which is great. We like to see goals like that, don't we? You can't beat a good shot outside the box that goes into the top corner, can you? You just can't beat it. There's something about it that's just great to watch. And we haven't scored enough. You're right. Either team hasn't scored enough of those type of goals over recent years. Cornish Schooner says, touch of Bergkamp about Beth's goal. Yeah, I suppose it was actually, wasn't there, the way she looked it over the player and then volleyed it in. We saw Bergkamp do that a few times. Terry says, Cornish Schooner said the same. You did say it during the game, actually, Terry. I'll back you up on it. You did actually mention that at the time when she scored the goal. So, yeah, it wasn't just you that thought that. LG says, Frida is starting to show 2022, 2023 form. Indeed, she is, yeah. She's been brilliant this season so far. Greg says, Walter is sheer class. With her in the team, we look so much better. Yeah, we look more balanced, don't we, in midfield? That's the key, isn't it? She gives us that balance. LG says, Kyra brings energy with her running. Walter is like a steady dictator. Yeah, Wally dictates the pace of the game, which you need. And sometimes we've lacked that, haven't we? So there we go. Anyway, Emma's back, and is he a little bit more lighter? He may well be a bit
better, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a bit lighter than he was, which is good. His head's disappearing.
5 bulbs. That's what 5 bulbs. That's what I said. What 5 bulbs?
Yeah, but they're still above your head as opposed to being in front of you.
That's right, anyway. Much better. You can see my nice haircut as well.
We can see a nice haircut, yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Emma then. So obviously last night, brilliant result in the end, a good performance overall, got the job done relatively comfortably in the end. What did you make of it? Because I thought it was a good game again, wasn't it? Another good game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit due to delays on transport. I did miss the first few minutes going home, but when I was able to stream, they had the Arsenal.com stream on YouTube, which was good actually, because I was going to watch it on my laptop initially, but then they streamed it on YouTube, which is good. So, yeah, no, I was good, dude. So, was Andreas gone? So I thought, what's happening?
We was just copying you. We can't see your face because half your face is off the screen. Push your screen forward a little bit.
That's better. You can see me now.
It's not better.
Oh God, I don't know what it is. It's just fine. I'm making it fast.
Your screen needs to come further forward so that your camera's further forward, so you're more in the frame.
I know this is turning into a bit of a farce. I know, but anyway, as long as you can hear me, that's all right.
We can hear you. We can't see you though. But
anyway, I was gonna say So it was good to see that he had the ranges available to him, because as you say, I mean, you could play like you see with the men's team. You could play 2 holding midfielders together. But I suppose when you played one against Man City, like you did with Kyra, to have the option of Leo, who's been such a stalwart for this club now for 6 seasons now, it's good that she always just brings that cool and calm presence to the midfield. And playing alongside the world-class player Kim Little always helps, but I would put Leah in that world-class bracket as well. You know, she, as you said, she finally took she took the bull by the horns and had the shot, and it paid off. Okay, the keeper's a bit unlucky, but I think she took that shot, and that's what got the team going as well. Got the ball rolling as well, and we need to shoot more often from outside the box. If we are going to, we don't always score. There's not always a high percentage of shots that is always scored from outside the box. But as you say, you love a long-range banger from time to time. Okay, maybe it wasn't a banger, but that was good. And then, the second goal again is a bit lucky. Okay, it was a heavy touch from Beth, but it's good awareness from Mariona to get a deflection and get over the keeper. And that just settled the team. After that, I just felt, okay, Hacken had forced one save from Manu in the second half. And there's always that danger that if they get one goal back, then it could unsettle the team. But at no point did we look unsettled. And once you got the third goal, which was absolute pick of the bunch, and it got a classic finish to show over the shoulder from Beth, she's starting to show her 21, 22, and 22, 23 form again until that injury. So, that settled the team. And, then the fourth goal is good as well. They're just tiring. They're just looking for a way back into the game. And, we killed them off. And ultimately, we're more clinical. And hopefully we can be like that and be more solid going forward. Although Jonas can be a little bit over exuberant with his celebrations on the touchline sometimes. I'm just careful. He was close to knocking on the sideline yesterday, and he knocked himself out. So he's just got to be a bit more careful.
Yeah, but you got to enjoy those moments, haven't you? I suppose he's been under a little bit of pressure, hasn't he? I think in the last week or so, what with the first game in Hacken and stuff, and going into the Man City game. So I think he deserved a chance to let his hair down a little bit last night when the goals were going in. And it's good to see how much it means to him as well. I kind of like that. So, but it was. I mean, ultimately, I'd have taken a scrappy 2-0 victory last night and straight through and just to get through. That was the important thing. But we did it. I thought we did it well. I thought we managed the game well. The substitutions, as Andreas mentioned before, were good substitutions at the right time. Gave some players a rest, brought players into the game who made an impact. The fourth goal, there was a substitute who created it and scored it. So that was good. And it it was what we needed. We had to go through. We couldn't afford not to have done. Really, there was so much pressure on that game, and I don't think you can really put into words how much pressure there was. Because had we failed last night, that would have been a disaster. I mean, last season was bad enough. To do it 2 seasons running, that would have just been awful. We couldn't have done that. We just could not have done it. We had to win last night and had to get through, and we did it, and we did it well. So I want to just give credit to everybody last night: the players, the coaching staff, the manager, the fans, everybody that enabled that result to happen last night, because we needed it so badly. And we've that's really set the season up nicely now, hasn't it? You know, we had a decent start against Man City, a good result, a point will do. We've now reached the Champions League group stage, which was so important, and hopefully now we can relax a little bit in the next few games and start to, not play with so much tension, and maybe we'll start to see a few goals flying in from all over the place, which would be nice, won't it? LG says, Kim keeps the ball in tight areas, Wally dictates the tempo, Kyra brings energy and running, Vic brings physicality and press resistance, and Frida brings goals. A very dynamic midfield. No, you're right, and in between them all, they've got a little bit of everything, haven't they, now, I suppose? And that's a good thing. And you can have 2 on, take 2 off, swap them over. We've got, obviously, when Vicky's fit again, at the moment, obviously she's not, but when she's fit, she's going to be an important player as well, isn't she? So, we do have a great midfield. We've got great strikers, and now we're looking like we've got a really good defence as well. So it's looking good, isn't it? I'm reasonably happy with where we are right at this moment. And of course, at lunchtime today, there was something really exciting that happened that we were involved in. We was a bit worried we might not have been, but actually it was quite good. And I know they drag it out and it takes hours when it could be over in 5 minutes, but they want to make the most of it, I suppose. But it was, of course, the Champions League draw. How exciting was that? So, of course, the draw was made at lunchtime today. I'm sure you've all seen it, but this is how it all planned out. As you can see, we are in Group C with Andreas's Bayern Munich, Juventus and Valerenga, which is a nice group. We'll talk about that in a minute. Obviously, look at the other groups as well. There's some good games there, isn't there? Chelsea, Real Madrid, Celtic in the same group. That's going to be quite good. Barcelona and Man City, that's going to be good as well, isn't it? So it's an exciting draw, actually. I'm really, really excited by it. I thought it was a great draw, and I'm pretty happy with our group overall. I mean, you're never going to get all the briefs that you really want, but overall, it could have been a lot worse. I'm actually happy with that. I mean, Andres, what do you make of that draw? Because I'm pretty pleased with that overall.
It's okay. It could have been worse, but it could have been better. I would have preferred to avoid Juve, and there was St. Pölten from Austria in the box. This would have been much better. Juve is a strong opponent. Of course, we were in pot 2, so it was quite clear we'll get Barcelona or Bayern Munich or Lyon. So this is okay. I saw Juve in a pre-season friendly, playing against Bayern Munich. It was 0-0. Bayern was dominating, but you can never underestimate Juve. They are always dangerous, and I think they have a few good players, but good for us. They signed Alicia Lehmann, so if they play her, they play with 10 players only. So I think that's my opinion. She's more a model or an influencer than a football player, but. Well, the rest, no, to be serious, the rest is still a good team. And it's not said and done that Bayern Munich will win the group. So we have beaten them 2 seasons ago, 2-0 at the Emirates. So it will be between Bayern and us and Juve. 2 of these 3 will go through. I don't know much about this Norwegian team. Maybe it's tomorrow. We will know when we play against each team, and it would be difficult to play in Norway in December or January, February. Maybe it could be extremely cold. I don't know whether they have artificial pitch again. This might be difficult, but we wanted to play in Europe, and we say we are such a big club. We belong to European football, so this is what we wanted. We have a tough group, but it will be interesting matches, and I will try everything what's possible to see the home match against Bayern and hopefully against Juve. Don't know whether it's possible. It's a midweek, flying over there, but this. Just imagine Arsenal versus Bayern, Arsenal versus Juventus Turin. It sounds fantastic, and this will be great matches at the Emirates. So I'm looking forward to this group stage. And the other groups are tough too. Maybe Chelsea has the easiest group with St. Do they have St. Pölten and Celtic?
No, it's 20. They're 20. I say 20.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you have to take it as it comes in a draw. And the good thing is, if we go through, we can't play against Bayern in the quarterfinal. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, it's. I remember 2 years ago when we were drawn against Lyon and Juventus in the group, and I remember we sat here and said the 2 games against Juventus are going to probably decide who comes second and gets through. And of course, in the end, it didn't work like that, and we won the group, and we thrashed Lyon and all that kind of stuff. So, looking at the group there, you kind of get the feeling it might be similar again in the sense that the 2 games against Juventus are probably going to be quite important to the finishings in the group. And I don't necessarily think that Bayern are going to win the group necessarily without thinking too much about it. We've got a great chance to win the group. But I do think the games against Juventus are going to be really important. Last time we got 4 points off them. This time, if we can get 4 points off them again, I think that should be enough to qualify us. We should get 6 off the Norwegian team, you would imagine. They probably play on artificial pitch, which ain't going to be easy, but I fancy we'll beat them home and away. And, of course, against Bayern, there'll be 2 good games. We know there'll be 2 good games against Bayern. And hopefully we can get at least 3 points, and that will be enough to probably win us the group if that was how it worked out. So I'm pretty confident, actually. I think we will definitely go through. I think first or second, I'm really confident that we can definitely win that group. But it won't be easy, of course not. But it's Champions League. It's not going to be easy, is it? You wouldn't want it to be easy. That's the whole point of being in the Champions League. You've got tough games against the best teams in Europe, and you've got to be at your best to get the results. And it's exciting, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? LG says it's one of those groups which we could finish top or finish third. Yeah, that's true. And I think Bayern and Juventus probably feel the same, actually. It's a group. And that was when we were with Lyon and Juventus last time. We felt the same. We could have come first or third, and in the end, we came first. And it was great. But yeah, Darren's with us. He says, "Bugger, I forgot about this." Hello, good evening. Oh, yeah, it's good to see you, my friend. You're back after one. It'll be on YouTube, so you can just watch it back. Greg says, "No problem. All 3 can beat. Watch Juventus game. They didn't look that good. I've not seen too much of them, so I don't know, but I feel confident we can pretty much beat anyone. Even Juventus management themselves have admitted sign Lehmann for footballing reasons. Well, obviously not. Clearly they signed it for footballing reasons, did they? Let's be honest. I think everyone knows that. Terry says, "Who cares that we're finishing top, so it doesn't." I'm confident. I'm confident as well. But yes, we need to be at our best, especially in the away games in Juventus and in Bayern Munich. And if we do that, we've got a great chance, haven't we? And it'll be exciting. It's going to be exciting anyway, isn't it? We love the Champions League. We missed it last season. I think I don't know. It didn't feel right without us in it. We're in it this year, so we're going to enjoy it, aren't we? Because we know how difficult it is to get there. I mean, Emma, what did you make of the drawing? Because overall, it could have been better. Of course it could, but you're never going to get everybody that you want. We've done all right, though, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be difficult getting the pots in there. I mean, look, we haven't disgraced everything. I know it feels weird that this will be the last women's champion in the current format before it reverts that lengthy, long drawn out. Well, it remains to be seen how it goes. Of course, the lengthy, long drawn out league phase with the women's. It's good that it's just over, as you say. You just draw 4 pots of 4. But I know you always want to. You know what Gianni Infantino is up to. He's always got something up his sleeve. Or even trying to expand the World Cup to 48 teams or whatever ridiculous. I hope he doesn't even think about expanding the Women's Champions League to whatever that number of teams. But anyway, going back to the draw, it's funny, right? 3 seasons ago, we said that we were drawing a group with Barcelona and Hoffenheim. And Hoffenheim was the threat there. I know we lost the last game 4-1. We struggled to get through, but initially we didn't disgrace ourselves against them. Okay, it was the first time we've been in the Champions League proper for a long time in that stage. But okay, I know Barcelona was so good for us, and we didn't disgrace ourselves. It was just still a relatively new team, and we did well. And now got to a quarter-final. Unlucky to have key players missing in Wolfsburg. We could Leo last time. Look, we couldn't forget an amazing 5-1 win we had in the heaviest ever home defeat was in 20 years. That was one of the best performances ever. But all our players were on fire. Unlucky to lose pre-placed injury, and then that season, of course, we can forget. It's a repeat, of course, of the Andreas derby, which will be great as well, which is even better, isn't it? If you think about it, yeah. So, that was brilliant. We played really well in the home leg, and then, of course, produced one of our best ever performances in Europe with a crowd at the Emirates. Completely outplayed them, but 2-0. Yeah, they have got better. They're the two-time defending German champions now. That will be difficult, but our squad is good, and I think it's gonna, as you say, we should be able to get 6 points off of the Norwegian team, Vålerenga. It's going to go down to that mini league of things between Bayern and Juve and Arsenal. And if we can, for the 4 games, I think even if we get, say, 4 or 5 points would be nice, but even 4 points, we get 10 points from those 6 games. I'd be shocked if we didn't get through. So it's going to be great. And it's great to have Champions League football back at the Emirates. And what more could you ask for playing these top level teams on a regular basis? As for the fixtures, I think the first one's probably going to be 3 days after the Everton game. So probably on Wednesday the 9th. They're always given us away games. I don't know how they sort it out, but yeah, as you say, hopefully there won't be 2. There'll be a good spread of the game so that we can rotate. It gives us a chance to get the squad rotated for the WSL and FA Cup games that still to come later in the season.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the fixtures work out, who will be playing what order, but, it'd be nice to start with a home game, maybe kick off with 3 points, and I think that's important. You wouldn't want to play Bayern or Juve away first game. I know last time we got Lyon away first game, hammered them, and that set us up for a great campaign, but I'd rather play maybe a home game, maybe play Vålerenga at home first of all, get 3 points on the board, and you're off and running like that. Would be a good start, wouldn't it? Or even play them away. It wouldn't be too bad, would it? In October, it wouldn't be as cold and stuff like that. Maybe.
No, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Ultimately, we've got to play home and away each of the teams anyway, regardless of what order they come in. And sometimes the order of the fixture doesn't matter. Sometimes it depends on the form that you're in at the time, what injuries you've got when you play the game. So whatever they come. That's it. We'll just have to do with and play the games. And we've got enough in our squad to get through that group. I'm 100% confident we've got enough to get through that group, to win that group. We've got enough to win it, but we've certainly got enough to go through. And that's important. And getting the knockout stage again would be fantastic. And who knows where we could end up. Greg says, let's look forward to the final against Barcelona. That would be amazing.
Oh, my God. No, mate, no.
LG says, Bayern had a similar group last season. Finished third. Well, there you go. They might finish third again. Who knows? As long as it's not to finish third. But we shall see. Terry says, my only worry is Salty FC are going to get so much rest after going out of everything. Just hope Man City beat them to second spot in the WSL. I don't know. I think Chelsea will go through their group, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, you would expect them to. I mean, they're winning 3-0 tonight anyway.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, they're playing Crystal Palace in the WSL tonight, just in case you wasn't aware. They are 3-0 up, Aggie Beaver-Jones, Lucy Bronze and Lauren James have scored. There's still, about half an hour, 20 minutes to play there. Obviously, they're going to win that game. We knew that before we started, We start with Man City. They get Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, That's
Aston Villa played very well last week, They were so happy.
Play well.
They look like they could be a threat this season, and they look like they could be a threat.
Yeah, they were unlucky to lose that game, actually. It was quite funny when
Sabrina nearly scored. Sabrina.
That would have been a story, wouldn't it, if Sabrina had got that goal? But yeah, I mean, in terms of the Champions League, I think we'll go through, and I think we'll do well. Aaron says, to be peaceful and polite, Palace are poor. They are poor, of course they are. They've just come up. We wouldn't have expected them to be great. They're going to struggle. They might well go back down. They're going to be cannon fodder for most teams. So, yeah, we knew Chelsea would win tonight. We're not bothered because they've got sterner tests to come and, they'll drop points as everybody else will. So, but, yeah, I agree. Palace aren't going to be great this season, are they? They're going to struggle. We know that. But talking to teams that aren't very good, we've got a game on Sunday against a team that we should beat. I'm not saying no. That's not a disrespect to Leicester because they've improved. That they're now more of established WSL team. But we are going to the King Power on Sunday. Now, I don't know who created these fixtures. The first two WSL games are double headers and the men's fixtures. Last season it was Man City. last week it was Man City. This week it's Leicester, Arsenal versus Leicester twice. I don't know whether that was planned or whether it just worked out lucky. I don't know. It seems a little bit strange. But anyway, so we play Leicester, of course, on Sunday, our second WSL game away from home. And, of course, who can forget last season's game away at Leicester? 2-0 down at half-time. Everybody was shouting and swearing, wanting the manager gone. There was all kinds of stuff going on. And then we end up scoring 6 goals in the second half. One of the best 45 minutes of football I think I've ever seen, many team. We could have scored 8 or 9 in that second half. It was just brilliant stuff. I'm not expecting quite a game like that on Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit less up and down. But obviously, I expect we should be far too strong for Leicester. They have improved. Obviously, this is their third season now, isn't it? Or is it fourth season in the WSL? They've started to establish themselves. Yes, they're always struggling at the bottom, but they're doing well to keep themselves in the WSL. And I think they'll probably survive again fairly comfortably. And I think that it's going to be... There's no easy games in the WSL anymore, is there? Those days are gone. Okay, maybe Crystal Palace might be an easy game at the minute. They've just come up and they're settling into this level. But there's not really many easy games anymore. And I don't think it's going to be easy on Sunday. But it's important that we win. Having dropped 2 points last week, we saw what happened last season. We got 1 point from our first 2 games, and that was too much ground to make up. You know, Chelsea are going to have 6 points in the bag already. We have to win on Sunday. It doesn't matter if we win 4-0 or we win 5-0 or we scrape a 1-0 or a 3-1. It doesn't matter. We have to win. And then that gets us going, doesn't it? Our first win gets us going, gets that momentum built up after the Champions League. I mean, Andreas, you must be confident that we can go there and win, surely.
Yeah, it's as you said, take nothing for granted. And just imagine if we draw at Leicester, then we would trail Chelsea after 2 games with 4 points. And I don't want to think about that. We must win this. Last season it was one of the worst halves we played. The first half 100%, there, 100%. And I remember very good that at halftime I thought, okay, we've thrown the title away. It was very early in the season. We've thrown the title away. How can you lose away at Leicester? And we really played bad. And then the second half was one of the best halves we played in the whole season, scoring 6 goals in 45 minutes or in I think in 30 minutes. But nearly every shot was inside the net. So we won't repeat this. But I just checked the squad from Leicester, and it's okay. But it's not a squad, not a team that we should be afraid of, or a team that should take points from us. The WSL is more competitive than it ever was, and even teams like we saw it last year, even teams like West Ham or Everton can take points away from the top teams. So Leicester started with a draw against Liverpool. Liverpool was 4th last season, so they can't be that weak and take it serious. I think much will depend on tomorrow's Champions League schedule. Tomorrow we will know whom we are playing midweek next week. If we are starting against Bayern Munich, then there will be heavy rotation in our lineup. If we start against Vålerenga at home, maybe, then you can play, or you can start with our top team away at Leicester and say, okay, if it develops normal the match, then we will have the lead, and then we can bring subs in. It depends on whom we are playing midweek next week in Champions League. But anyway, we must take this match serious, and we must win, because we are already 2 points behind Chelsea, and not winning would mean 4 or 5 points behind after 2 matches. That's too much. So I hope we will win, and the last matches gave me the confidence that Jonas knows how he must change tactics or which team he has to line up and when he must make the sub. So we are winning there. I'm pretty confident.
I mean, we should be, yeah. I mean, as you said, we should be going to Leicester with a team that we've got, and we should be getting 3 points, and we shouldn't really have to worry too much. But you also rightly said last season we fought the same when we went to play West Ham away, when we went to play Tottenham away. We fought those same things. That we're much better team. We should win those games, and we didn't. So we certainly, the one good thing about last season and some of those results is we cannot this season take anything for granted. We're not going to underestimate anybody. We can't afford to, because we saw what happened to us last season, and I'm sure we won't. And and you're right. I think that the last couple of games in particular, but maybe this season so far, okay, the Hacken away game wasn't fantastic, although we had chances to win it. I think that we've got this momentum built up now. We look confident. The squad is mainly fit, and I really think that we should be going there on Sunday in a really confident frame of mind, and we should go there and obviously be confident to get a result. Rajan was with us. How you doing, my friend? He says, Mido, of course, Mido. I was thinking last night, wasn't we? Greg's made a good point there. Good game to put DVD in goal.
So, yes.
Put DVD in goal. I agree with you. But then Manu's been playing well. So I don't, not that you should drop her because she has maybe one bad game. So maybe it is a good time to bring her in. It's not a slight on Manu saying, oh, you're not playing very well. It's like, we're going to give her a game because she's worked hard and she deserves it. So I agree. I would put DVD in goal. And it is a good game to put her in goal to as well, because it's not like she's going to probably have 500 shots to save. Not that she can't make those saves, but it'll be a nice game to bring her into. I agree. That's a good shout. That let's put a petition out tonight to get DVD in goal on Sunday.
Yes.
Because Jonas does listen to us. We know he does, because so many team selections that he makes and tactical things that he does is what we've told him to do on a Friday, and he's put them into place. So Jonas, if you're watching, which we know you are, play Daphne on Sunday. You might as well give her a game. It'd be good. We can see what she can do, and it'll be a nice game to bring her into. Terry says, "You three make me laugh. Trying to make out Sunday's game could be close." You have more PR than the men's team. We are stuffing them. Well, I hope you're right. I do hope you're right, but we don't want it to come back and bite us, do we? Because we said that against Tottenham last season and West Ham. Look what happened there. Greg says 6-0 with DVD in goal, if not 6-1. I thought you were going to say if not 6-3 or 6-4 or something, but we let in a few last year, didn't we? Terry says, what time do you call this? It's very late tonight.
It's called up more time. It's called up more time. It's called up more time.
As the clock's gone back or so, we didn't know about it, so everyone's coming in late. But anyway, better late than never, as Darren said before. That's absolutely right. And of course, the show's on YouTube. You can watch it back after it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Let's. You need a score prediction, Andreas. Give us your score prediction for Sunday. Come on, be brave.
Yeah, I'm optimistic, and I say we'll win 3-1.
3-1. Brilliant stuff. We'll take 3-1 all day long. That'll do for me. Fantastic. 3-1 away win is always going to be very, very nice indeed. Emma, what are you thinking of Leicester then? We should win, shouldn't we? Surely. Come on.
Yeah, I know. As you said, as fate has it, I'm off to the Emirates to watch the Leicester game tomorrow. It'll be my first game at Emirates in 5 years. The number of women's games I've seen in between, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, we got it through because we're red members now. We got it through the ballot. So yeah, my dad's going to be coming up from Brighton, and I'll be watching that game. That'll be exciting. And then Sunday, yeah, just put my feet up. Hopefully get good commentary and stream on YouTube, which fingers crossed will be 1,000 times better than the FA player was. No disrespect, but yeah, I think they've improved. If they can't take them for granted. I know we fought in the 3 away games we played in the WSL. We scored, I think it's a total of 14 goals. We've done 4-0, 4-0, and 6-2, isn't it, or something? They're an improving side, and they showed against Liverpool. Okay, Liverpool were properly good as well, but we can show what we did against Hacken and to show what we have done against them in the past. I think we should be too strong for them. So yeah, hopefully a similar result. As I said, I think there's a good point made by our viewers that DVD should start in goal. It's a question. I don't know. Leo probably be too soon for to come back, as well as Steph. So yeah, probably wouldn't make too many changes. I know it's only been 3 days since Sunday, maybe 1 or 2 changes at best, but probably keep 8 or 9 of that same starting 11 that started last night. But for a score prediction, yeah. I mean, I hope we can keep a clean sheet. I know we've won it twice, yeah. So, okay, Andres said 3-1, but I think if we can be solid in defence and more clinical up front, I think we can say we'll see a repeat of the 2 scorelines from past. So I'll say 4-0 Arsenal.
4-0 Arsenal. Look at that. Fantastic. Darren agrees with you. He's gone 4-0. Stina, Rosa, Kimi penalty, and Russo. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Majandra has also gone 4-0. He says 4-0 to the Arsenal. That's
Ooh,
my
I'm not
quote
about the men's. I'll say 3-0 for the men's. I'll say 3-0 for the men's.
That would be a
4-0 for
good
the
weekend,
women.
wouldn't it? 2 4-0 wins. We'll enjoy that. Greg says, I'll take your banner, Arteta out. Yeah, that's what we need. You can borrow my one, actually.
Let's not talk about the men's team. Let's not talk about the men's team.
Darren said, actually, saw that 5-0. Fox to score, open her account. Oh, okay. So Darren's gone 5-0.
I would like to see that. She deserved it. She was good, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we have scored a lot of goals away at Leicester in the seasons that we've played previously. It's a nice pitch, obviously, the Premier League pitch or the main stadium, if you like. So, I think we should win fairly comfortably. I agree with Greg. I think if DVD's in goal, we're definitely keeping a clean sheet. There's no way anyone's scoring past her. And we've got the firepower in our squad, haven't we? You know, I'm desperate for Stina to score because she started the last 2 games, and I think she's played really well in the last 2 games. She just hasn't managed to score. And being Stina as a striker, I think it's important. She's missed a couple of chances in each game, and I think that she needs a goal. So I would play her tomorrow, and I think she'll get a couple of goals. Actually, I think she'll be firing tomorrow. So I think Stina will get a couple. I think in the end we'll win reasonably comfortably. I think we'll take our time to maybe get going, but I think I think 4-0 is a fair shout. Actually, I might go 4-0 as well. I think we'll score some goals, and I think it'll be a good performance and a nice win in the end, and we will enjoy it indeed. Terry says, Amar, who is your loyalty to?
Don't question my loyalty, man. Come on.
As mob. So he didn't go to the Man City game last week at the Emirates, but he's going to Leicester at the Emirates. I don't know.
That was bound to luck. That was my dad getting the tickets. That was luck.
Well, but Daniel says Darren may get it right if we get the scoring. I mean, if we take our chances, we could score 7, 8, or 9 because we're bound to create a load against Leicester, aren't we?
Yeah.
It never happens, does it? You never score all your chances. You just don't. That's football. You just don't do it. As much as I'd like to think we can, and we'd be great, but I think 3-4 goals would be great. 5 goals if we manage it would be fantastic. We don't need necessarily to win by a big score. We just need to play well, be solid, get some goals, win the game, clean sheet. Away from home, lovely. That's what you need, isn't it? Greg says, good half-time prediction by the panel. Well, it may be half-time, yeah. Not like last season when we were 2-0 down at half-time.
You're going to say it's going to be 8?
That wasn't much fun, was it? But anyway, we're all confident we're going to win the game, let's be honest, and we should do. And I'm sure that we will. Rajendra says, more goal from Leah. I don't know if Leah will be playing, will she? Oh, Leah will see, you mean? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe another one from Leah. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Although apparently Leah Williamson, I think, will be available for Sunday. She wasn't ever going to be available last night, but she might be available for Sunday. We'll see. A concussion or something. See, actually, before we got to that concussion thing, I don't know. I don't know if you saw Jonas's press conference when he was asked about it. Yeah. He was very, very guarded on what had happened, what caused it. Very, very guarded. He didn't want to give out any details at all. He just said, it happened in training, and that was it, really. He didn't say when it happened, what it was about. And I was a little bit thinking, is there more to it than they're leading us to believe? Obviously, Leah was at the game last night. You saw her in the stand. She was on the pitch at the end. She had a hat on. She didn't actually look great. I didn't think she looked particularly well, actually. I was a little bit worried when I saw her, but if she's had a concussion, I suppose you can understand that she might not be.
Yeah, it happened in training. She said it happened in training.
Just the way that it was talked about when it was mentioned to Jonas, he was very, very defensive about it all, which I thought was strange because he's not normally like that. He's normally quite open about things, and he wasn't. And I thought, to me, that started setting off a few little things in my head, thinking, is there more to that than we're being told? Let's hope it isn't. And let's hope it is just a concussion and she's fine and she's going to play again very soon. I hope that's the case. But I don't know. I got a little bit concerned about that, really. And I seeing her last night didn't really help because I didn't think she looked herself. But I suppose if she's had a knock to the head, she's not going to be herself, is she? I suppose that's probably what we need to do. Terry says, keeping the score to myself this week, I've got a 2-tier on my case.
2-tier.
Well, yeah, what we're hearing, he might be on his last legs, old 2-tier. So don't worry about that. He might be on his way, which would be good, wouldn't it? Well, we'll have to have a party, won't we? Especially if we never see him at the Emirates again. That'd be good. Don't let him in. Just ban him. Darren says if Palace were the best of the best in the Championship, and the gulfing difference between the leagues.
Yeah, 100%.
That's always been the case, hasn't it? The team that comes up goes down. Bristol City last year, Palace probably this year. I mean, Leicester managed to survive. I think if you survive your first season, you've got a chance, haven't you? And then building from there. I think the first season's always tough, but you're right. The gap in class is a lot. And don't forget, you know, a lot of the teams in the Championship is not even full time. So, of course, there's going to be a difference. Of course, there is. But yeah, I mean, this is something that the women's game needs to work on. It needs to improve the lower levels because that's how you improve the top levels. It's no good just throwing everything, which the men's game did, didn't they? Throw everything into the Premier League and forget about below it. If you're not strong at the bottom, it's like the foundations of a house. If your foundations are crap, your house is a fantastic palace.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's the same with football and women's football in particular. Yeah, and you're right. There is a gap there. I've watched quite a lot of lower league women's football. Newcastle is my local team. I've seen them when they were in the third tier. The standard of that game is miles and miles away from where it needs to be. Yeah. They're in the Championship now, which is a little bit of a step up. Still not great. I agree. The standard in the Championship isn't great. If we draw a Championship team in the FA Cup, we generally win 7-8-0, don't we? 6-0 even now. Yeah. So work needs to be done. Investment needs to be made. They need to go full time. There needs to be a lot more work done lower down. Yes, the WSL is great. We want to keep it great, but let's not ignore what's going on below it because you need depth. You need quality and depth to really grow as a sport. Yeah. And that's one thing that this new company taking over the WSL need to understand. It isn't just about the WSL. It's about women's football in general, grassroots football, 100%. From the bottom up. That's what you've got to try and do. And hopefully that's what they will do. Darren says, I was thinking the same, maybe a training ground. Or
no, I wouldn't think it was that.
Yeah. I was thinking something like that. That's exactly what went through my mind when the way he was talking about it, as though he didn't want to bring attention to some internal issues. I hope that's not the case because the players all seem to get on, and I hope it isn't that. But just something didn't sit right with me. But anyway, let's see. Terry says it's an Arteta thing. Don't tell them nothing. Well, it seems to be, or moan it is someone else's fault generally. Rajendra says may also have had a cold like you the other day. Yeah, maybe she had a cold as well. Yeah, she didn't look very well. I didn't think. Maybe it's just because she's had a whack on the head. She's not going to feel great. Oh yeah, let's be honest. Terry says to be honest, Palace beat themselves even though their keeper played well. Well, yeah, I suppose. Rajendra says it lets me know. Bolton weekly wage is about 150,000 for the men. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's what's happened in the men's game, isn't it? And it's going to happen in the women's game unless we stop it now before it gets to that point. We've got to filter it down. It's got to be done. So come on, whoever you are that's making these decisions now in women's football, start from the bottom, make that stronger, make the Championship a competitive league so that when the teams come into the WSL, they're not just going to be a relegation fodder straight away. They're going to be able to compete in the W. They're not ready. Crystal Palace aren't ready to play in the WSL because they haven't had the investment to be able to do so. Really? Newcastle is one team. They've had a lot of investment in their women's team, and if they were to get into the WSL, they would probably be in a slightly stronger position because they've got the fan base, they've got the money, they've had investment. But that's one individual club doing it on their own. It needs to be throughout the sport so that the smaller clubs can still compete. But it won't happen probably, but we'll see. Anyway, this has been a fantastic show tonight, hasn't it? I'm sure you will all agree. We've looked back on the start of the WSL. The season's back. It's great, isn't it? We've missed it, haven't we? The WSL back. Fantastic stuff, which is great. Of course, we've made it into the Champions League group stage, which and I was so happy last night. I wasn't feeling very well doing the game, but it was great. It was fantastic, so that's good. Rajendra says it may have a lot of our players to get better. Yeah, well, yeah. Darren says, Lord A, Sir Rick, you at Leicester Sunday. No point asking how
what have got me?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, no. I must admit, this is one of the away games, Leicester, that is one I like to tick on my box. I think that's one I want to go to, but just the timing of it, this particular time isn't the right week for me to be able to go, unfortunately. But I'll be hopefully at 2 or 3 of the away games this season: Man United, Man City, Liverpool, potentially. Maybe one other one as well. So yeah, hoping to get to a few more, but unfortunately not for Leicester. I'm a bit gutted actually because I like Leicester Stadium. I've been there a few times. It's a great ground. nice place to be. But there you go. Let's see. Terry says, Richard, the man you need to speak to is sitting just to your left. Yeah, Lordy. So indeed, I'm sure he'll get everything sorted. He is. Andreas gets things sorted. So yes, I mean it's been a busy show, hasn't it? Wow, it's been great. And luckily, the good news is my cold's a bit better as well. So I'm on the mend. I'm still not.
Are you forgetting something, Richard?
But I'm on the mend. I don't think so. It's I don't know. Am I forgetting something?
Amos quiz. I'm joking. Next week, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, the thing is, I've got to nip out actually.
No worries. I'm going to save it for next week. If you're fine, yeah, no problem. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I've got to nip out unexpectedly. Well, not unexpectedly. I expected.
No, that's fine. I hope you get. Yeah, no, you don't sound. You sound. Hopefully, you'll get better soon. I just thought I'd just quickly, if I may, raise a couple of short points.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you say Crystal Palace is interesting. You see, it's always that difficult. You say about in the men's as well with the Championship to the Premier League, and it's the same with the WSL. I think personally, I know a lot of people have tipped West Ham to go down, but I think it's going to go down to those games between Crystal Palace and West Ham. I think, look, West Ham as well have struggled with the investment as well, even though you think they've been in the WSL. I think this is what their 5th or 6th consecutive season now. They've got a good base, but you can see I think it's going to go down to those 2 games. And personally, I would like to see Crystal Palace stay up, but I mean, as you say, they were good for half an hour tonight, but then their golfing class is evident for all to see. And yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen. But as you say, it's going to be difficult for them, but you know it's good to see them playing well, and hopefully the fact that they're playing at Selhurst Park and they'll get a good crowd down. It's always a great ground, isn't it? So good luck to them, I say.
No, well, of course, yeah. I mean, we wish them well, and I don't like to see the team that gets promoted get relegated again because I don't like that happening. You want them to survive, don't you? And I mean, Crystal Palace aren't going to judge their season on how they get on against Chelsea or Tottenham. No. They're going to, like you said, they've got games against Leicester and West Ham and some of the teams at the bottom, Brighton and teams like that they're all improving. But they're the games that's going to decide where Crystal Palace end up this season. But they're going to be struggling. There's no doubt. They're going to lose a lot of games, and they're probably going to lose by a few goals like they have done in their first couple of games. But that's not Crystal Palace's fault. And I wish them well, like you do. I'd love them to survive because I think it's good for the women's game if you get different teams in the WSL. It's not just the same team get relegated and getting promoted again, and it's good for the league and football in general. It's the same in the Premier League. I hate it when the 3 teams go down and the same 3 teams get promoted again. It's like Leicester and Southampton back to the Premier League again. It's like they was just in there. They should be banned for 10 years, not allowed back in again. Let different teams in. I love it that Ipswich are back in there. Fantastic. Last season, Luton. I mean, I hate Luton, but it was good that Luton were back in the Premier League because it's a different team. Exactly. And this is what you need to happen. And I wanted them to survive. I want Ipswich to survive for the same reason. And I want Crystal Palace to survive in the WSL for the same reason.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, there is that gulf in money, which is the problem. But let's see what happens. Football's played on the pitch ultimately. It isn't played in the finances, bank accounts. It's actually played on the grass. And anything can happen in 90 minutes of football. We've seen it so many times. And if Crystal Palace can manage to pick up a few shock results here and there, they might survive. And who knows? It'll be good. But there needs to be some changes at the bottom end to make the game more competitive long term overall, and it helps the top level. But they don't seem to look at it.
Yeah, and I think the whole concussion thing surrounding Leah as well. I know it's such unfortunate what happened. I suppose in that regard, I don't mind Jonas keeping the information disclosed himself because it can be considered, like with injuries in general, can be considered quite a delicate subject. So I can understand maybe why he was a bit reserved. We just wanted to see her back on the pitch and doing what she does best again anytime soon. And we wish her and all the Steph and all the other players a speedy recovery because then it goes to show that, as you say, with the squad we have now, we can be fighting on all 4 fronts this season.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's nothing against Leah. I mean, obviously we want Leah to be fit. We hope as well, and we hope she can play either this weekend or the game after. I was a little bit concerned from Jonas's reaction to it. It's probably nothing. It might just be me overreacting to it, thinking more into it than what it is. But it kind of concerned me a bit, thinking, I think something else has gone on here. And that's all. But yeah, obviously we wish Leah the best, and we want to see her back play because she's fantastic. We love Leah. I want to see her play again. Darren says, seriously, guys, this is a top show. 2 knowledgeable guys, and am I? Hey. Lots of fun. Well done.
Hey. Don't call me not knowledgeable. I'm frozen again, man. Honestly. Oh.
Regina says, hopefully we have some European games on the weekend on a bank holiday Monday, and the Europeans can see how great Arsenal is. I mean, the only possibility would be maybe the knockout game. It's a midweek competition, isn't it? So all the games have been midweek. I know we had that bank holiday Monday against Wolfsburg in the semi-final, but that was slightly different circumstances, wasn't it? We might get one if we're lucky later on in the knockout, but I doubt it. It's mainly going to be midweek, isn't it? Greg says, fantastic show. Great to start the weekend. Looking forward to a great result on Sunday. Absolutely. Of course we are. Rajendra says, you have bought a watch off Amar. That's why it was late. That might be.
So funny, you are. So funny.
Anyway, so that, as we said, as Greg rightly says there, it's the start of the weekend. The weekend officially starts when our show finishes. We're back where we like to be on a Friday. But I've got a feeling next Friday might not work though, Andreas, because I don't believe you're going to be around next Friday, are you?
Yeah, I will be in the air next Friday. The next 2 Fridays, it's next week on the weekend. It's the home match versus Everton. On the week after it, it's home against Chelsea. So I'll be.
I might see you against Everton, Andreas. I might see you there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I'll be in the air next 2 Fridays. Pity, but I want to be live in the stadium and this atmosphere and being in London and speaking with other fans, supporters. This is much more much more than sitting at home and watching it on TV. It's totally different. So I want this live stadium atmosphere, and of course this means I have to fly Friday nights to London.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're right. It's the right decision to be in the stadium, absolutely, and it's brilliant. And of course, you'll have to keep doing the vlogs for us because they're fantastic. They're getting, lots of people are watching them. They're getting great reception, and it's great to be able to let other people who can't be there experience some of what it's like to be in the stadium and stuff. And I think that's great. And it's a shame we'll have to maybe move our show next week. Maybe Wednesday might be what we'll have to do. I would say might work out better for next week, but we'll see. I mean, there's we can work that out. But there will be a show next week. It's not going to be Friday. Just make you guys aware. So either the weekend's going to start early next week, because if we do our show Wednesday, then the weekend's going to start Wednesday. So forget Thursday and Friday. You have the days off work, because it'll be new weekend. It will be, but we'll work that out anyway. So we'll sort this show out for next week, and the week after it's going to have to be 2 weeks in a row, isn't it? By the look of it, but that's fine. We'll do what we can do, of course, to bring you the show, because it's it's what we enjoy doing, and I think you guys enjoy it as well. Terry says, I think the C19 jab has got Amar even out.
It has frozen again. No, it's frozen again.
It's been frozen again. Yeah, I think that's what's happened. But we shall see. Darren says he's watching the girls. Oh, yeah, you see, he's just saying that's what Andreas is doing. He's watching the women's team, which is what this show's about. Darren says Amar all day is talking about watching.
Stop taking the mic. Stop taking the mic.
I think you're going to get a lot of stick about that, Amar. This
that's all right. I've been to so many 5 years. In 5 years, I must have seen 20 women's games. So come on, let's
I know. So unfortunately, we'll have to change the day next week, but it'll be fine. Anyway, Andreas, Lord Andreas, good to see you again. Have you enjoyed the show? We always, great to have your company with us, of course, every week.
Yeah, of course, I enjoyed the show, and talking with you, discussing all the subjects. It's just great to be back in the season, and we enjoy our football back, and we enjoy discussing all this amongst us, but also with our viewers. And I like to be in talks, in discussions at the Emirates. Last weekend I spoke with 2 of the stewards, and outside with one guy who is selling the Guna fanzine. We had a nice talk, and I love this interaction with other supporters. And as I always said, if you recognize me at the Emirates or at Meadow Park, just say hello. I'd love to be in contact with other supporters, and that's what I like, or what I love in this show. To discuss about all these subjects and the women's football and the team I love. And, it was just great to be back.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you do see Andreas around the games, you can't miss him either, because he'll be probably the only 6'5" German in the crowd. So don't think to yourself, "Oh, I'm not sure if that's him." You'll know it's him, so it's definitely him. So say hello if you do see him, because he enjoys that as well.
Yeah.
And of course, it's great stuff. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is nice, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, I mean, I know you've experienced it, Andreas, recently. Either at games I've been at before, you know, people have come up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I've watched the show," and stuff like that. And it's nice, isn't it, when you know that, you know, we do this because we enjoy doing it and we have a laugh and it's fun and all this kind of stuff and we love it, right? And it's great. But it's nice that when you're just out somewhere and someone actually says to you, "Oh, I've seen the show," and it's nice that people have watched it. And it's great, you know. I think it's good that we've got people in the chat now that are regulars in the chat. They're always coming in. They're getting involved in the show. It's fantastic, and it's great that, you know, we've been here for quite a few years now, a few seasons doing this, and we've built up quite a nice little community, and that's what it's about, isn't it? So yeah, you know, we're real life people. So if you do see us anywhere out and about, do say hello. It is nice. We do appreciate it, all of us. Amar, as well, good to see you back. Obviously, your first show of the season. So it's good to see you again. Have you enjoyed being back on?
Yeah, it's good to do what we do. That's great. And hopefully I'll be able to join more in from now on. I'll definitely be going to more games at the Emirates this season. Don't you guys worry about that. This is just more lucky than anything else. So, yeah, no, it'll be good. And hopefully I'll get to see you next week, Andreas, at the Everton game. So looking forward to that as well. So, no, but hopefully we'll get 2 wins. And, yeah, hopefully we can continue our positive start to the season.
Exactly, which is what it's all about, winning games on the pitch. Rajendra says we should have a focus on one trainee from women's football who we can see is the next up and coming player. Actually, that's quite a good feature, isn't it? Or maybe Academy Player of the Week or something. I like that idea, actually. That's something we can maybe look at. I think we might have to start with Katie Reid, because she's definitely the next up and coming player that's going to be a superstar. But there's loads of others as well. But no, I like that idea. We'll have to maybe look into doing that. Maybe every week, feature a young player, and if we think they're going to make it or not at Arsenal and stuff. So yeah, I like that idea. That's a good stuff, actually. We'll have to think about it. Fantastic. So this has been the Arsenal Women's Show. It has been a good week for Arsenal. We've started the WSL with a good performance, a decent result. We've qualified for the Champions League group stage. We've got a decent draw. I'm happy with the draw. I'm pleased with that. I think we've got a great chance to go through. It's exciting stuff. And we're playing Leicester at the weekend, which is great, isn't it? Well, in fact, the men are playing Leicester as well. So it's double Leicester's this weekend. It's going to be good. So I'll be here tomorrow, of course, for the men's game, 2:45. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. Wow, that's what we love. So I'll be here for that one. And of course, Sunday, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff Sunday as well. So that's good as well, isn't it?
Correct.
So join me at 2:45 for that one as well. 2 big games this weekend, Arsenal versus Leicester twice. Last weekend, the 2 games had the same result, 2-2 in each game.
Mm-hmm.
Will 2 games this weekend bring the same result? Which Andy went 4-0 in both. We'll settle for that, won't we? 2 4-0s. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Let's hope that's what we're doing. And of course, we'll see you next week as well. Probably Wednesday for the women's show, but we'll put it out there so you can see. And we'll see you then. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure it's going to be good. Lots of football. Hopefully the weather's going to be a bit better than it's been. Hopefully my cold will have disappeared and I can enjoy the weekend. And looking forward to it all.
Yeah, well soon, mate.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to Andreas, of course, as always. Thanks to Amar as well for kind of being on. We couldn't see him very well, but he was there. That's the
that's all right. I get it sorted.
Frozen. He's not moving about, but anyway, it's good that he's back, which is great. I'll see you tomorrow if you're around for that, and Sunday for the women's game. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Like, share, and subscribe. Come on, you Gunners. Come on. I quite like that comment there, Terry says, the time Rajendra gets in, the show will be over. We'll have to put Rajendra's feature at the end just so that we know he'll be here for it. That's all. We'll have to do that. But I do like that idea. And it obviously said about from the world of women's football. Yeah, no, I like that idea. It's something that I definitely want to go with. So I'll think about that. We'll get something together and we'll maybe get that done. But yeah, we'll do it at the end, Terry, so don't worry. Anyway, thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for the Leicester game. All right. Take it easy.